Biology 1.6 again then. Ecosystems and human impact on environment, higher tier this time. So let's get started. Question number 1. Biogas is a mixture of carbon dioxide and methane, produced in the soil in landfill waste dumps, and is sometimes collected and sold as fuel. Same type of massive waste was regularly dumped in a landfill site for many years. The volume of biogas produced would decrease after heavy metal lead was illegally dumped there. Okay, first of all, explain how carbon dioxide is produced. So carbon-based material decomposes to produce carbon dioxide. Furthermore, it can convert to fossil fuels, which are then or is then burnt. Okay, so 2 ways of carbon cycling there. In order to prove that lead caused the decrease in the production of carbon dioxide, an investigation took place with the following apparatus. So lime water changes from clear to milky in the presence of carbon dioxide. We know this from our year 10 chemistry as well. So the apparatus was left for 24 hours and the results were as follows. Okay. Now we've got a water here. Water, that's just going to be our control. Okay. Lead was one of our heavy metals which have been polluted. And then we've got another kind of control in that we've got another type of nitrate here. Okay, now we've got some apparatus. So if we have got milky, that means CO2 is present. And we got no CO2 in B. So no respiration or decomposition is occurring there. Now I'm just going to put that over to the side. Okay, useful. So explain the results in B. So we know that if we look just back to B, we've got clear, so there's no CO2. So we've got B, no carbon dioxide present because no precipitate has been formed. So that's our description. If we then add to that, this is because no decay is occurring. Now explain the purpose of sodium nitrate in C. Just quick squiz back. This one we're looking at. It's a control to see where any other metals affect the production of carbon dioxide. Okay, so is it just lead? Or is it more to do with the nitrate itself as well? So described by you would set up a 4th tube to show that microorganisms were responsible for causing the colour change. So you would have a tube present with no bacteria. And this would mean that nothing would decompose, okay? So we've got a 4th control almost. So you're seeing this question here, okay? So question 2. Need to move this picture out of the way. What's happened here now? There we go. Delete him away, okay. Recent flooding in the UK caused sewage discharge into a river. 2 weeks after the discharge, the Environment Agency took samples of river water at 3 sample points 0.5 kilometres apart. The percentage of dissolved oxygen in the sample was measured and the animals in the samples were counted. So we can see we got 3 pie charts, and these pie charts are showing us the different percentages. And then we've also got where they've measured the dissolved oxygen. Okay. So we have, as we're going further away from the site, we're getting more oxygen. Can we see? So right next to him, we got 0, then 17, then 30. Now we're going to need this, so I'm going to leave him over there so we can look, and then we'll have the questions up. So use the information in the diagram opposite to answer the following questions. The presence of which 2 animals indicate high levels of water pollution? Now the ones I'm looking for here, okay, I've got 3 different animals. I'm first looking for the ones which are more prosperous around where the sewage are and where there is low oxygen. So I can see, first of all, my rat-tailed maggot. Okay? We've got a very high proportion. Then secondly, my sludge worm. Now, just a bit of elimination. Water lice cannot be where there's pollution. Okay? They thrive where there's a high percentage of dissolved oxygen. Okay? Which animal cannot? So we've put that, water lice. What happens to the percentage of dissolved oxygen as the water flows downstream? Well, we've said that it increases, doesn't it? So it goes from 0 to 17 to 30. Rat-tailed maggots need oxygen to live. Suggest how they can live at sample point 1, where there's no dissolved oxygen. Well, this is quite an easy one. They just come to the surface to breathe atmospheric oxygen rather than staying underwater. Okay, question number 3. Talking about DDT here. Now, when I see DDT, my topic is bioaccumulation, okay? So I'm thinking about pollution and perhaps a bit of eutrophication as well, okay? So I've got those two. So DDT is a powerful insecticide which was extensively sprayed onto crops in the middle part of the 20th century. Its use is now banned in many regions of the world because it resulted in the death of many top predators. One of the predators affected was the American bald eagle, whose numbers in the USA dropped to only 834. Now, food chain below shows the concentration of DDT in ppm, parts per million, in the tissues of the organisms in a food chain. Now, just something I want to draw your attention to. We can see that it's increasing up the food chain. So we've got increasing concentration of DDT. Now, I just want you to put that down there because I'm going to move away from this page. Just want you to notice then that each time it's increasing by a lot. And the reason for that, okay, is because the aquatic plants, they get that DDT. Small fish, they then can be really hungry. They're going to eat loads of these plants. So all of that DDT, which was in those plants, is now into the fish. The large fish then eats loads of the small fish, concentrating all of their DDT, which then finally leads us with the American bald eagle, which eats a lot of the large fish and has a very high concentration of DDT. So we're going to move to this graph, okay? So the graph below shows the number of breeding American bald eagles in Florida between 42 and 59. Suggests why DDT is found in aquatic plants if it is only sprayed onto crops growing on the land. Well, this is eutrophication, okay? So chemicals run off into waterways. So waterway, that could be into a river. We could have lakes, canals. The aquatic plants and fish are not killed by DDT, but the American bald eagle is. Well, we've said this, isn't it? Bioaccumulation. Other species beneath the American bald eagle in the food chain eat these organisms. So, and we'll add on to this answer. So, the concentration of DDT becomes stronger. Question number 4 then. A scientist investigated the rate of energy transfer between an oak tree and organisms living on it. She recorded it on this. So we've got energy here. So 4.6 million, and it's decreasing as we go down, okay? Calculate the percentage of energy absorbed by the oak tree that is transferred to carbohydrates. So I'm going to circle around the key information here, and it's to the nearest whole number, so no decimal answer. So I'm just going to do percentage. I've done little over big times by 100, and I'm going to round into the nearest whole number, so 1%. So explain why only a small proportion of total energy is transferred. So energy is used for growth, movement, and that is meant to say movement, so I'll just make that clearer for you. Reproduction, or it's lost as heat during respiration or excretion as well. So there is waste. Final question on the paper then. Some organisms living in a large lake and their total biomass in kilograms are shown below. Okay? Write the organism above are likely to be present in the least numbers. So pike, and my reason for that is because it's got the smallest biomass, okay, and it's going to be at the top So it's our apex predator at the top of the food chain. Organisms form a part of the same food chain. In the space below, draw a label diagram to show a pyramid of biomass containing all these organisms. Okay, so all you have to do for this point is you need to find them in order of biomass and put them with the highest at the bottom, which is plants, and the lowest. And we're going to add this now just to show you where the information came from. So aquatic plants, that's going to give 45,000. We've then got snails. Snails are going to eat those plants, got 4,500. And then going to look, beetles is the next smallest. So beetles is going to be on the next rung up. I've then got my minnows, which are 500. And we said, I don't want to write minnows, we want to write 500. And I need to write my massive beetles, which is 800. Apologies. And then finally, I got my massive pike, which is 250. The pike in the lake are affected by a parasite called a fish louse, which lives on their skin. There would be many of these parasites, but their biomass would be less. Now, if we're thinking of a biomass pyramid, then if it's less, it's going to go up there, isn't it? For our parasite. So tick the correct answer. We've just drawn that on there, haven't we? We've drawn it above the pike level, so place them at the tier above the pike. We're not going to put it at the bottom because the plants don't eat it. We're not going to put them below the minnows because the minnows don't. And we're not going to put them in the tier below the pike because the pike don't consume them. B, then explain how a pyramid of numbers for some organisms living on land could look like the one below. So I like to think of this. This one can be a tree. And if this one is a tree or a large producer, it ends up looking like a tree. So the producer could be a tree, meaning there is only one species, but with enough biomass to support the food chain. Now, there's one more question on the back, which is about the carbon cycle. That is also present in YouTube video 164, because it's also the 6 marker for the foundation topic test. So for that final question, just go over to the 164 foundation topic test video.